Today, I have the benefit of speaking with Barry Baim from W.H.Y Yield Resources. How are you today?
Tracy, I'm great. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
W.H.Y Yield Resources is the fastest magnesium company to production in North America. Do I have the competitive element of why correct?
You do indeed. We have a 10.6 million ton magnesium contained resource already identified. We are well along the permitting process. We spent many years advancing this project in British Columbia. We have the mining permit that was received in October 2025. We have our other authorizations that are currently in place, and we're looking forward to hitting the ground running here in the fall.
Okay. And so when I was listening to everyone talk earlier in Investor Talk, they were very excited about the valuation of the company as you move forward, and in particular, your offtake partnership. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I sure can. So we have an interested party, Galaxy Magnesium, and we've signed a definitive agreement with them. That definitive agreement asks us to deliver over the next couple of years 62,500 tons of ore, which will generate over $30 million US in gross revenue each year. The first year, we have some development costs to pay for, so it'll be a push year. Year two will be 30 million plus, and then we will amend our permit, taking it to a higher volume, and we expect over 100 million in revenue in year three of mining alone. So, given the fact that we have that definitive agreement in place, the offtake partner will be putting forth a $5 million pre-purchase deposit once all the final authorizations are in. It shows that we've de-risked this project substantially, and we're on the cusp of cash flow and commercialization.
Okay, well, we were talking at PDAC. I was just looking back at an old news release and discussion that we had, and you have not only magnesium, you have silica, nickel, and iron. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the beauty of this resource is that we don't have to process it on site, and we can sell the ore and process it as we are in this case to an offtake customer, or we have plans to future build a value-added processing onshore. And the reason that is 94% of the ore is saleable, primarily the magnesium and silica, and then we have trace credits of nickel and iron. What this allows us to do is have extremely profitable ore, not have a tailings pond or processing plant on site, and add value to obviously the demand profile for the critical minerals in North America. This will make us, this project as we move forward, at least as our understanding is in the current marketplace, the predominant magnesium supplier in North America.
Okay, and for those of you that may not be aware of it, China controls 95% of the world's magnesium. And of course, a lot of people think that magnesium is just something a vitamin supplement that you take. But actually, the Defense Department is looking at magnesium. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about the competitive reasons why magnesium may be the most exciting critical mineral in the fall market?
Well, magnesium is important in so many ways. You mentioned earlier the nutraceutical piece and pharma component. That's very important for human physiology and society. But the industrial base needs it for the deweighting of vehicles, transportation. You're finding battery chemistry is changing where magnesium now is a core component of future battery chemistry that makes it less volatile to any kind of heat fires, and also gives it higher capacity in charging. So that reduces range anxiety for manufacturers. The other piece is the Defense Department. There's no doubt that they have a large demand for lightweight, strong materials such as magnesium. And as you mentioned earlier, Tracy, again, with China controlling 95% of the magnesium supply globally, there is a huge, safe, secure supply issue that we can help solve for North America.
And of course, there's all kinds of investment bankers and everyone racing into the critical minerals corral to be a part and take a piece of the government investments that they are making currently. But you guys have been around since 2003, so you're making this look almost magical in your timeline, but you've been doing this for a while.
We're fortunate we've got a tailwind now. A lot of people probably looked at the front end of this process and Said, what is magnesium? Where is it going to be used? Had no idea. So the persistence of what's happened here with the founder and the company is that we've been vigilant to take it to a place where the high demand profile now exists for silica, magnesium, nickel, and iron, all of the critical minerals. And that base needs to be built in North America. For years, the company was primarily advancing, a mineral project through exploration, engineering permit. But today we have like our Mines Act permit, we have our transportation permit, we have a good strong indigenous relationship, we have an offtake agreement, and we have a demand profile tailwind ahead of us that looks great for the next 10 to 20 years.
Speaking of tailwind, you also have an extraction technology process. We talk about that all the time on Investor News that has a 94% success rate. Did I read that properly?
94% extraction rate. So that's what it gets back to the value of the ore. We have only 6% waste, where a copper mine might only get a percent and a half of copper out of a ton of ore. We're getting 94% of the value out of that ton of ore. Again, primarily with magnesium and silica, both in huge demand. Silica, obviously, with the advent of AI and how it's evolving, and all of the computer trend needs for better chips, the housings, the glass. Silica is another big demand product to have high purity onshore silica.
In this race towards production, and of course, maintaining your leadership position in the magnesium market, which is a high level critical minerals sector. What do we have to do next at West High Yield Resources?
The next thing is we've gone through obviously everything to permitting pretty much. We'll have those in place. Get on the ground and start disturbance of the mine. So that'll be removing the trees. That'll be starting the construction access. I've mentioned this once before, and I'll do it again, that we have over $1 billion of infrastructure in place so that the requirement to build our mine to get it up and running is very small in the range of 30 million, where there's some mines that have to build $100 million worth of roads just to get to their mine site. We have approximate labor force. We come from a jurisdiction that is known for mining. We're 2 kilometers north of the US border. We have rail in place. We have power through our property gas. So therefore, our cost to get the mine up and running is very low relative to other projects. We're excited. That's where we're going next.
West High Yield Resources, or Y Resources, WHY. For more information, please go to the following website. And Barry, thank you so much for the update.
Tracy, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to our next opportunity to visit.